And it's going way up. Now, when I talked to the people at the Secretary of Defense office, they told me, hey, Doug, the actual count's over 300,000. Because you got to remember, these are the ones that Reserve National Guard had got out under VA disability. But you can get a straight disability right from the Army. Remember, you know what I'm talking about. You can either get directly from the Army or get from the VA. The Army guys ain't counted in the VA data. So we're looking at 300,000 of our sons and daughters permanently disabled from a 100-hour war because of the contaminants of war. Now, I had a total of 294 dead. 50%, okay, combat and 50% accidents. As of May 2002, the number that have died that have been confirmed with VA service connection was 10,324. The number is over 20,000 today because there's a lot that never got service connection and they're not included in that. 100-hour war. Anybody in the military starts to try and get medical care for all these exposures gets into problems. When you try to get medical care for yourself or your sons or your daughters or your soldiers, you get into...
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
They look the other way. Our daughter's been documented that she's been affected by all this. And she's had quite a few medical problems. But when they took her this time, they sent her to Walter Reed, gave her complete workup. She's fine. They took her. She's not fine.
She's got a statement from the Department of the Army saying that, yes, we know you were exposed to this stuff, but it's not injurious to health.
That's what they're doing to the children, to the sons and daughters of our nation. The problem we run into is when you go to war, the purpose is to kill and destroy, and they disregard everything that happens. Okay? We've got to turn that all around completely. Now, one by one, now let me tell you, there's an awful lot of good people in the military, and they're yelling and screaming their lungs off. All I'm doing is finishing my job. I got a direct order to clean up the DU mess. I got sent up to work with their daughter, who was already doing it up there, and the rest of that 144th. Okay? And then when we got back to do all of this stuff, you can't get it done. Okay? And the reason is simple. They don't care. Now, in 1970, between combat missions up in the North Vietnam, the commanding general that I worked for at Utapao Air Force Base, Thailand, a guy named Frank Elliott, he put us all to bed in his hooch, where he controlled the whole flight night at Utapao Air Force Base, Thailand. Now, here's a general. He knew we were fighting. We were doing things between missions because I was flying B-52s as a bomb nav hard hat and dropping bombs. But when it was time to sleep, he put you to sleep. Now, all of a sudden, we're asleep on the floor, and this colonel, full bull colonel, came up and walked in. He fell over one of the sergeants, grabbed a hold of him, pulled him on. What are you sleeping for on duty? And what are you sleeping in the command post? The colonel didn't see General Elliott over in the corner. Well, General Elliott got up as soon as this guy started, grabbed the sergeant, was beating him up and yelling and screaming at him. And General Elliott pushed me down because I was sleeping right behind him, and he stepped over me. And he got over to the colonel, and he looked at this colonel and said, "These are my guys. When I tell them to sleep, they sleep. When I tell them to fight, they fight. And you get the hell out of here and leave them alone." And he grabbed him by the scruff of the neck, turned around, and kicked him out with a size 12 combat boot. And General Elliott turned to us and said, "Guys, no matter what you do, you always take care of the troops." Now, General Elliott and I stayed friends from the moment we met in 1970 until he died in the year 2000, 30 years. He helped me raise my kids because he retired and ran Tooele Air Force Base, Chanute Air Force Base. And right before he died, we were talking together, and we'd gone to war and everything else. And he came back and he looked at me and said, "Hey, Sergeant Rock, whoops, you're not a sergeant anymore, are you? You're a major. Are you still take care of the troops?" Well, I can, to this day, to that angel up there, I can go, "Yes, sir, I am." Because that's what it's all about. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we got a problem. The leaders of our nation, the leaders of our military have forgot what their responsibility is. When we go to war, we can't leave a toxic residue that not only kills the enemy immediately, but kills the women, the children, and our warriors for eternity. I'm a warrior, but I've reached a conclusion. Number one, you can't ever use uranium munitions in combat again. But more important, other than uranium munitions, because we can no longer deal with the health and environmental effects of combat and the destruction of an infrastructure, I've reached one conclusion. War is obsolete and peace must reign on earth. Period. What's happened today is flat wrong. We went to Gulf War II without any justification. We know that Iraq did not possess the chemical and biological munitions, much less ready to release those in 45 minutes. We know that the uranium thing was a scam, but we went to war. And we're going to war again. We went to war in Afghanistan in order to sustain the oil pipeline from the inner Soviet republics on down to the port of Pasni in Pakistan. That's a February 12, 1998 congressional directive. Go look it up, it's there. But there's something more important. This is where each and every one of us needs to do something. Now, I come from Illinois. I come from the land of Lincoln, okay? Where I live, Lincoln rode a horse. He did courts and trials and, did all kinds of things. And Lincoln went on to become a president, hold our nation together. Now, where I come from in Illinois, you have to memorize Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. You got to remember that. You got to memorize that, or you don't even get out of 8th grade. Okay? And in that immortal address, there's a lesson for all of us to do and to follow to this day. And this is the end and the solution to what's happening in this nation today. Because it's going to take each and every one of us to fulfill our responsibility to ensure those final last words are that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. If we continue to kill the children and contaminate air, water, and soil because of arrogance and this desire to kill and destroy, the prophecy of the ages in all cultures and all religions will never occur. That prophecy was demonstrated with all the nations singing together at the United Nations UNESCO conference. Because that prophecy is, and a child shall lead us to peace. But if we kill the children, if we don't learn from the past, how is that prophecy going to come about? I think it's time to reclaim the prophecy. I think it's time to reclaim the country. I think it's time to take care of the warriors that are sick and ill. It's real simple. What they don't tell you is that contamination remains there. And now the official count as of May of 2002, and again, I got to get this updated, 221,502 of our sons and daughters are now labeled as permanently disabled. 221,502. It's over 30%. It keeps climbing, and it's going way up. So we're looking at 300,000 of our sons and daughters permanently disabled from a 100-hour war because of the contaminants of war. As of May 2002, the number that have died that have been confirmed with VA service connection was 10,324. 10,324.
There's 10,000 AWOL soldiers in the U.S. right now. There's a couple hundred in Canada, and they're starving. And we're dying because we believe what you people are telling us. You know, you owe it to us to help us. All these Iraq veterans are dying because no one's helping us get with this PTSD. No one's helping the soldiers. No one's supporting us. They just keep sending us back to war. My name is Daryl Anderson. I served in Baghdad, Iraq from January 04 to July 04. But I'll start it off with my progression in Iraq. It started with 9/11 because that's what led to the war. Like Dennis was saying, that's what fueled the fire. That's the big part of the lie that led to the lies I witnessed in Iraq. So I didn't join because of 9/11, because to me, growing up as a kid in Kentucky, I was working 50 hours a week. I was selling drugs to pay my child support. I was broke. I was a hood rat. And I was growing up like you probably see a bunch of kids running around the ghettos around here. And 9/11 happened. It didn't affect me. I didn't think about it because I didn't have health care. I was working a job that paid me $5 something an hour. What do I care about these 3,000 people that died when my friends are dying every day in the street? I didn't know it would come to affect me one day. But all of a sudden in Kentucky, because it was some brown people in Kentucky were looking at me like I was a terrorist. Because I'm dark, I can grow a beard, you know, and I'm not as white as many as you people in the room. And I'm thinking, this is racism. This is what feeds the fuel that Iraqis are beneath us and we can go kill them. Because look they killed 3,000 innocent people. They don't care about innocent lives. In Desert Storm, we couldn't get into Baghdad because the people heard about the innocent people we killed in the bombings. Now, 3,000 Americans are dead. We don't care how many Iraqis you got to kill. Killing innocent civilians is part of war. And that's what they sent us into Baghdad with. I joined in 03 because I was broke. I needed money, but I was a young American kid. I wanted to fight in the war. I joined up. Month out of training, I arrive in Baghdad, Iraq, January 04. Saddam's been captured. And I get there, and the guys that I'm serving with have been there for 6 months already. They were there in 03. And I go, well, you know, I think it's come out that, you know, these people had nothing to do with 9/11. There was no Iraqi on those planes. We can see around here there's no Al-Qaeda, there's no terrorist syndicates in Baghdad or Iraq. Saddam had stamped them out. And I asked my buddies, well, you know, we're here to find weapons of mass destruction. And they laughed at me. And I said, well, you know, we're here to help the people. And they laughed at me. And I said, well, what's our mission? What's our goal? I thought we were going to find the people that did 9/11. I thought we were going to get these weapons of mass destruction. I thought we were going to help the people. And they're like, all we're trying to do is make it home alive. And then I'm going to lead you in now to the other lies, because you guys know the lies, but I bled for these lies. I watched my brothers die for these lies. People had lost people in 9/11. 1, 2, family. I lost many of my friends and brothers. And I lost part of me for the stuff I did in Iraq. And then we go to January, February, March. You know, nothing's happening. And then Bush gives his speech about bring it on. And in April of 04, we lost 135 soldiers for this lie, for his lies, for his swagger as being from Texas or whatever. And the more soldiers we lost, the more our procedures changed. Which leads into escalation. 9/11, we can go kill people now. We lost 135 guys. We can kill people now. We were ordered and fired upon, you know, hunker down, radio, wait for orders to return fire. In April, they told us in a crowded area, if one person shoots at you, kill everybody. Because they're letting them attack you. They are no longer innocent if they're there at the time of the crime. Sounds like American rules. If your buddy commits a crime, you're there, you can get caught up on charges on it. But these aren't charges, these are death. We're killing people because they're there when someone else attacked us, because we believe that if we kill enough innocent people, they'll stop the people from attacking us. But what they don't realize is the innocent people we killed, it was their brother, it was their uncle that was trying to kill us, because we already killed his 3 children. You roll into Baghdad, every single big apartment building is blown up. every single apartment building in Baghdad has been broken to the ground by artillery and airplanes bombing. You cannot meet someone in Iraq who has not lost a family member. Could you imagine what we had done in America if in 9/11 everybody in America lost a family member? What would we be doing? Would we be talking about war? No, we'd be in the streets with weapons. And so people talk about, oh, these people killing American soldiers in Iraq, they're terrorists. Not terrorists, they're wearing sandals. And they got an AK. And they got 14-year-old boys building bombs to kill these American soldiers because we've killed their family. So we're done in Baghdad. We killed enough people. I was ordered to kill innocent people. We killed innocent people. When they shot at us, we shot at everybody. We were done, you know. Every guy I served with was against the war. We believed 9/11 was a lie. This is in 2004. Every soldier served us believed 9/11 was a lie. We thought the people would expose the lie, know the war's a lie, and bring us home. I got friends that are there in Baghdad in 2007 on their third tour, 3 years in Iraq. And we're talking about it still when people are dying. We go down to Najaf on the way out because we get extended. You did a year, you can't go home yet, you got to go to Najaf. And we shoot hundreds of artillery rounds into downtown Najaf. Areas that we couldn't shoot at before because they were religious places. But just like 9/11, the more soldiers they killed, the more we could do. It's all escalation. They've been escalating this war since 1990. And now they're finally, with this troop surge, they're going to put soldiers on every street like they're cops. Because we've escalated and we've let them do it. We've let them do it because we stood by and we've talked about it. We got to hit the streets. You got to stop paying your taxes. You got to stop feeding this fuel. Because if we believe 9/11's a lie, then why are you paying your taxes still? Why are we still letting these soldiers die? And me, as now, I won't even talk to politicians about the war because there ain't no point in it. Democrat, Republican, they're all profiteers of war. Even lots of anti-war organizations are profiting off my brother's pain. You know, no Iraq veterans are getting paid off this war. No, we're all just sitting in the street homeless. I've helped 5 AWOL soldiers in the US since I've been back. Well, I spent 2 years in Canada because I refused to go on my second deployment. I came back, I got kicked out of the military. So that's why I'm here, I'm a resistor. Because we're tired of waiting. We're tired of waiting for the politicians to stop the war. We're not going back for that third tour. I've been helping 5 AWOL soldiers in the United States, and no one's helping me help them. No anti-war organization, no one has helped me help these people. I'm digging money out of my broke pockets to help these people get off the street. And that's why I'm here today is because, you know, if you believe 9/11 is a lie like I do, and all these soldiers going AWOL, you gotta help the GI resistance. Because we're gonna stop the war. No one else is gonna stop. You could have 1 million protests, talk to 1 million politicians, expose 9/11, which you gotta keep doing. You gotta keep exposing 9/11, but that's not gonna stop the war. Because everybody in America pretty much knows it. Everyone in the anti-war movement knows it. They won't talk about it because they're scared of the bad publicity that comes with it, but I don't care. I'm a resistor. You know, the movement wouldn't even touch me because I was AWOL. So I'll say how it is. 9/11 was a lie. I know it. We're soldiers. We know it. So now I'm helping GI resistance, and that's what you got to do. You got to focus on 9/11, but like Dennis saying, you got to keep hurling, pushing stuff. There's 10,000 AWOL soldiers in the US right now. There's a couple hundred in Canada, and they're starving. And we're dying because we believe what you people are telling us. You know, you owe it to us to help us.